3 times a year, up to 5 kittens per litter, and no one really talks about it. If you are reading this, you might think, that sounds somewhat familiar, but also exaggerated. It's not exaggerated. It is the biological reality of the cat sleeping on your sofa right now. A single unspayed female cat and her offspring can theoretically produce up to 420,000 animals in 7 years. This is not scaremongering. This is pure mathematics, and math knows no exceptions. Today we are talking about what really happens inside your cat's body every year. Not as an accusation, not as a lecture, but because you should know, for her sake and yours. And at the very end, you will face a single question, just one, and the answer is yours. Stay with me, because this part about the why will probably surprise you the most. Start with yourself first. When was the last time you truly thought about your cat's cycle? Most people I ask this to just shrug their shoulders and say, never. And that is not their fault, because no one has ever explained it to them clearly and directly. Let me do that now, calmly and without jargon, just like a friend would explain it to you. Cats are what biologists call seasonally polyestrous, but forget that word immediately. What it means, your cat doesn't have just one cycle per year, as you might believe. She has multiple successive fertility cycles in a row over the course of a single year. From February to October, almost 9 months, she can be fertile and conceive. Not weeks, 9 months, almost 3/4 of a whole year, without pause or respite. And during this time, something happens that most people have never heard of. If she doesn't get pregnant, the next cycle begins not after weeks, but after just a few days. Within 2 to 3 weeks, she is already fully fertile and ready again. Her body takes no break to rest. It doesn't ask if the moment is convenient. It only knows one thing: this opportunity must be taken. Now, immediately, without hesitation. This is not an evolutionary error. It is her greatest and oldest survival mechanism. But wait, it goes one step deeper, and here comes the truly surprising part. Cats are reflex ovulators. They don't ovulate on their own, like humans do. They only ovulate through the stimulation of mating itself, and that has a clear consequence. The consequence: if she mates just once, the egg is almost certainly fertilized. There is barely a maybe in this equation. The body activates the mechanism immediately. And because outdoor cats can mate with multiple males, a litter from several fathers is normal. This is no exception. This is biologically the rule for free-roaming cats without human control. Let that sink in for a moment. Picture your cat sleeping right now. Look at the rhythm of her chest, the gentle rise and fall, her closed eyes. And then remember, inside her body runs a system older than humanity itself. A system that knows no pause, no regard for your living situation, and has no calendar. She doesn't know that the world already counts more than 2 million stray cats on German streets. She doesn't know that shelters have been full for years and have almost no free spaces left. She only follows an impulse that sits deeper than any training, experience, or habit. You know the feeling. You see her sleeping and think everything is quiet and peaceful. But what you see is only the surface. What goes on beneath is a different story. This is the moment where I ask you to pause, not to make you feel guilty, but because understanding biology is the first step toward true responsibility. You might be saying to yourself right now, but my cat never goes outside. What could happen? I know this statement well. It comes from the best intentions, yet it's only half the truth. Because heat is not a purely physical event. It is a hormonal event in the whole body. During a heat cycle, your cat releases hormones that affect her entire organism. Her stress levels rise. Her behavior changes. She calls. She rolls. She seeks an exit. Many cats find one through windows, balcony doors, or moments of carelessness at the front door. But even if she doesn't find one, heat itself is not a neutral state for her. Quite a few veterinarians report cats that regularly go into heat without getting pregnant face increased risks. The risk of ovarian cysts, uterine infections, and hormone-related tumors rises with each uncompleted cycle. Her body prepares itself fully every single time, and if the goal is not met, tension builds. These tensions accumulate silently and quietly over years until something happens that cannot be undone. This is not a horror scenario. These are clinical observations by veterinarians from decades of practice. Your pet is sleeping right now. She is warm. She is safe. And yet this process keeps running. There is a boundary between ignorance and irresponsibility, and you are standing at it right now. I am not saying this as an accusation. I say it because you have stayed here this long and are listening. And that matters, truly, not who made mistakes, but who decides to understand it now. Let me pause for a moment, because this is truly important before we go any further. Your cat has the deepest trust in you that an animal can possibly have in a human. She has chosen to sleep near you, to eat, to spend her life with you. And she didn't make this choice because you are perfect, but because you are there. It is unconditional, silent, and present anew every single day, without demands or expectations. And now comes the question I often asked myself in the beginning. If all of this is true, what can I, as an ordinary person, actually do about it? The answer is shorter and clearer than you might think, and it doesn't depend on money. Spaying or neutering is today often cheaper than a single vet visit for complications. And in many regions, there are organizations and charities that help if money is tight. So the first and most important step is not an act of power, it is an act of understanding. Once you understand what is happening inside her body, the decision changes all on its own. That is what this moment of biological understanding actually does. It empowers you to act. Not guilty, empowered to act. And that is an important and vast difference in meaning. I have spoken with many people who had their cat spayed and afterwards said, "I wish I had done it sooner. Not for myself, for her. Not for their own sleep, not for the peace at night, not to end the calling. For her, because she seemed calmer after the procedure, more relaxed, simply different in her baseline." This is not a romantic interpretation. This is what this hormonal pressure truly means. When it is lifted, something that kept her nervous system under constant stress is removed. And what is left is the cat she truly is, without that biological imperative driving her. Curious, playful, close, without that inner urge that drives her and won't let go. Here is the image that touched and struck me the most when thinking about it. Picture a cat that is exhausted, not from running, playing, or hunting, but from a process running inside her for months, which she can neither stop nor understand. That is her everyday life without being spayed, a quiet white noise inside her that never truly stops. You don't see it from the outside because cats adapt, they don't complain, and they demand nothing. But it is there, and a vet who works with this daily usually sees it immediately. That question from the beginning, how often your cat can get pregnant, now has a different depth. It's no longer just about numbers, shelter statistics, or street cats. It is about the animal that is with you right now, whose eyes you are looking into. And about the question of what you do with what you know right now in this very moment. You don't have to decide anything immediately. You don't even have to comment, like, or share. But tonight, when she comes and lies down beside you, just take a look at her. Look into her eyes, which half close, radiating peace when she is close to you. And ask yourself, what does she actually need from me that I haven't given her yet? Not food, not toys, but real decisions that come from knowledge and not from habit. This is the only thing an animal cannot demand for herself from her human. She cannot spell. She cannot type. She cannot Google and read at night. She simply trusts that you will do it, anew every single day, without her demanding it. I sometimes wonder if we truly understand this trust in its full depth. Not as a cute concept for a pet video, but as something that means daily responsibility. That is harder than cuddling. That is harder than the perfect photo for the internet. But it is exactly what she chose you for, not despite this difficulty, because of it. What she truly needs are people who decide, even when it takes effort. You have stayed until this point. That is not nothing. That already says more than many think. If you take only one thing from what you have heard here today, let it be this. Call your veterinarian tomorrow morning. Just a conversation. No decision, no pressure. Just ask what the next meaningful step for your cat would be at this moment. You now know more than most people who own a cat and live with her daily. And knowledge without action remains a beautiful thought, but it changes nothing for her. She is lying somewhere right now. Maybe she is sleeping. Maybe she is looking at you exactly now. Cats are sensitive to their human's tone, even if they don't know the words. If you are more thoughtful tonight, they register that in their silent and mindful way. Go to her. Just let her look at you for one real minute tonight.